Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to The Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Well, what have we here?
It's a podcast.
Fine.
And what excitement we have today.
It's The Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara and Rob Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
Welcome to the show from Southwest Florida, where we're underwater right now. Hey, before we get underway here, I want to make sure that we know Rob is taking a vacation this week, a well-deserved long vacation, and Josh informed me right as the show started that today he is going to Hershey Park, or as I used to refer to it, Hershey Fart.
Hopefully he has better weather than the rest of us.
Filling in for Rob Spiewak, and tremendously generous with his time because this is a busy man. Nick Cho, otherwise known as Your Korean Dad, and the last time Nick and I, we worked together since he was an intern, was 1852 that we got together, and we worked. He is generously getting up early on the West Coast, and we are not generously taping later because this 10 a.m. start time for me, oh, baby, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, it conflicts with my favorite sport when the time comes, you know, when we get into the different schedule of playing in the middle of the day. But, you know, that doesn't matter. Nick, all the way from sunny California, where I hope it's sunny because it's not sunny here. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show again.
I'm so honored to be asked back. I feel like the whole thing with on Carson, where the stand-up was invited to the couch. Like, this is the podcast 2024 equivalent.
The thing about it was you came on as a guest. We were delighted to hear from you. And then Josh said to me, you know, and he's got a little following too, so he's in your world. And so that was even more exciting to have you on because you exist in this online sick world of ours that we all live in right now. And then you came on, and I remember what I loved about you when you were an intern because your sense of humor and your repartee with Don and myself on the show was more advanced than the average intern. So this comes naturally to you, my friend. This is so I said, let's get him on and see if he can pop in for a couple of days while Rob's gone. I'd love to have him on the show.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I was just a kid back then. The thing that's a funny kind of full circle thing for me is that back on the old show, one of the things that I really took note of was watching just, you know, what Rob did, what Burbank did, what you did, and what Don did. And I would just look at you and go, he just shows up. He doesn't have any homework to do. He just shows up, like, literally half the time putting your feet up on the table.
Yeah.
And just showing up fresh and going, okay, what are we doing today?
And that was it. I mean, to be honest, that was really, I have to tell you that in those days, my job, and this is really what Rob does for me, my job was to react. And one of the things Rob does for me, and I do it with Rob, once you get into the habit, you don't lose the habit. Yeah. There was one thing if I didn't do it, I would be called out immediately. And that was not being in the moment. You have to be totally engaged with every show. And I've worked with people that have been engaged and people that haven't been engaged. But that's what I did. So while it looked relaxed, I couldn't drift off. And I had to focus. And I had my job in my mind back then on the old Don and Mike show was to engage with everything that would be said on the show. And then I was hired primarily as a radio impressionist. And so when I came into that show, before it evolved into, our lives, more Don's life than mine, my job was to react. And then as time went on, the impressions, even on the Don and Mike show, were further apart, and the lifestyle thing. Yeah, the best contributions I ever did were my tragic personal life. That's really what the absolutely the most satisfying moments on the Don and Mike show would be Mike's tragedies. And I learned a lot from that, because it was just like, oh, what happened to you? Well, I took a woman to Bermuda, and she left me 2 days into the vacation, and everybody was. And then the other one of the other great stories is when now when you were an intern, was Diana Silman our producer at that particular time?
No,
Probably
it was Rob.
It was Rob. One of Rob's many visits as a producer.
It was. I think the beginning. Excuse me. It was the beginning of a producer stint for him. The pretense to me coming on as an intern in the first place was that his sort of intern spot needed to be replaced.
Oh, so that's a long time ago. That's a very long time ago. Diana, I was going to say the other tragic story, but it was not. It was just a practical joke at my expense. Was when we had, and getting back to the whole days that you were on the show, where sexism and racism just abounded on radio, just everywhere. When you think about it, it was ridiculous. It was what's that?
It was America. It was a different time.
It was a different time. It really was. But to give you an idea of the what we wouldn't do today, when she had a birthday, we went out and bought a 12-inch dildo for Diana and presented it to her, and it was called the Bulldog. And then months after that, I used to back my car, my little Acura, into the parking space in the front of the radio station, and they wedged it into the grill. And I drove up to a recording session and thought I was the most famous person in the world, because everybody was smiling and laughing at me, and it was a practical joke, and they wedged it in there. And I came out of the recording session and noticed that there was a giant dildo sticking out of the front of my car. It was probably, at my expense, one of the greatest pranks. Hey, Josh, I got a question for you. I know you have a smaller picture down there. Your shot is much more of a long shot than you normally have. Have you noticed that, or did you put your camera somewhere differently?
No, I had the long shot here in my office. I went tighter when in the Outer Banks because of the green screen.
Now I understand. Little things, little obsessive compulsive things that I pay attention to. But back in the day when Nick was on the show, it was just a different world, and it is. I don't know. I think that I don't mind having a little sensitivity, but sometimes I think funny is funny. And Nick talked to me about that before. It's so strange, because you can't really keep track of what's offensive and what's not. Later on, I want to play a video on the show of a new music video from Billie Eilish, which is just so naughty. But it's that probably wouldn't have seen the light of air back in the day, but we'll get to that. But I was hired, Nick, just so you know, primarily as an impressionist, and I came on the show being Don Geronimo's Jewish agent, and coming and go, hello, this is Saul Rabinovich. Hey, we got a deal for you. It's going to be, even that. And then I did, that would probably be, I don't know, that might be frowned upon to no, but now I do Jackie Mason when I do the voice of Benjamin Netanyahu. It's like, well, they're going to attack us, we're going to attack them. That's the way it goes. But I don't know. It's tough to keep track of.
It's all about selling it, right? It's like if things make sense to people and how things land, how humor lands in audiences or different, folks, like that's changed a bit. But the core thing about it has to land and land in a safe sort of space that everyone's happy. Like that's, I guess, the thing that everything has in common. What I do remember from having learned a lot from you, just observing you, especially reflecting over the years, is, you talk about being an impressionist and all being there to react. I mean, I saw you as an artist. I don't know how often you identify yourself as an artist, as a professional artist over the years.
The answer would be never.
Yeah, but exactly the idea that you needed to show up and be able to be on and react and have all those things going at the same time. And I know what it takes in your mind. Like, you have to have 3 brains moving at the same time to be able
It affects me, not to interrupt you, but it affects me in my personal life, because my family, all of my family members, my extended family members, my sister, we are all terrible at we're terrible at being patient during a conversation. And throw in the concept of my job, especially over the last 15 to 20 years or so, has been to think 1 or 2 steps ahead.
No dead air.
And unfortunately, it results in you have to discipline yourself in order to have a normal, non-on-air conversation, because you're thinking 1 step ahead and you're a terrible listener to start with. And I'll be sitting at a restaurant with my sister, and I'll be talking about, say, my son Michael. And I'm like, yeah, he's going to this STEM camp. It's Pathways to STEM. And I'll look at my sister, and my sister will be looking like this. And she will be listening to a conversation in a restaurant 2 tables over. And I'll say, so we're really excited about Michael. And Kathy will say, I think those people live in Rockland, Maine. And it's just, it drives me insane, but that's what it is. But I appreciate, it's nice to, be called that. And I've always thought, a program director once said to me, in Baltimore, after I got laid off from CBS Radio, who said to me, you are a storyteller. And that is what I consider myself. I tell stories because that's what I do. I'm not a stand-up. I don't know if I do well in stand-up. I think my terror for stand-up has kept me from doing that. And there are way too many people that just are made for it and are great at it. But as far as this medium, to come in and have something happen to me and share it, that's my thing. That's what I dig doing. That's what I like to do. Come in and share the stories of my tragic life.
When I say that you're an artist through your work, I think it's less about your work is art. It is more about you live an artist's life. And
yes,
this is that
definitely.
I've had to deal with, like, realizing that, God, like, I have to have time to go for a walk for an hour to clear my head to be able to be productive in the kind of work that I do. And feeling super guilty because, most people's jobs is either very hands-on or it's very active. Like, you're like on the keyboard, you're on the thing, you're like physically and mentally very engaged. And for me, feeling like I need to clear my head felt really selfish and kind of self-indulgent. Someone said to me, it's like, you're an artist. That's why you have to do that. And something just clicked for me. And I realized, like, yeah, like, I don't have to worry about whether what I do is art. Me being having that sort of artist sensibility, it kind of let myself off the hook a little
God,
bit.
I wish I lived in California.
You mean no one buys that excuse for the golf course?
No, it's just so to hear
artist?
Nick talk this way. I mean, I'm sure that his part of California is so different. You know what I get? Man, I wish I worked an hour and a half a day. That's right, MAGA.
My heart is still in the DC area. My heart, I'm Korean American. Being a Korean person, it's like there's always the voice of my parents in the back of my head. I'm 50 years old and I still hear them in the back of my head, criticizing me, telling me how lazy I'm being, whatever. But that's okay. That's part of being an artist too.
Yeah, and I think that informs what you do, because when you've got that, you need, in a way, you're seeking something. You're a seeker. You're seeking out approval and affirmation from people, and that's why anybody, you can go through any area of the biz of show and be looking for that. We're all broken. We're all looking for something. That's it. And now that's speaking of the way we handled you when you did your first run at the Don and Mike show, your only run at the Don and Mike show. As far as that. attitude. You hear a lot about I've seen Korean stand-ups talk about it as well, where the demands on you as an individual, pretty specific, educational, occupational. Is that a fair characterization of many Korean families, would you say?
Well, not just Koreans, but I mean, I think that there's two parts to that. One is Korean culture, and well, we don't have that perspective in the States. Most countries are very small compared to the U.S. And so that, and for that matter, it's like, and this is a lot of the current events that we're dealing with now has to do with, people's personal identity and how that sort of comes together to represent a national identity. And the U.S. is very, very unique in the world in that way, as being a very special place where all kinds of people come from all over.
Right.
But that all said, there are certain cultural sort of things, when I say culture, it just means like, what people, what's trendy, like what is it that people want to see? Korea having been a very poor country not that long ago, and now being, on the world stage in so many different ways, comes to a certain kind of grit and a certain kind of perseverance and a certain kind of scrappiness, I think.
Work ethic as well, would you say?
I mean, it comes with a scrappiness, but at its core is a certain type of survival, like what it means to survive, and I think that that's true for a lot of other cultures as well. And then you add on top of that this sort of immigrant mentality. And this is something that I thought about a lot, and it doesn't really get talked about that much out there, even in these communities. But like that whole idea of being an immigrant, people think about being an immigrant as like a trip. It's on a boat or on a plane. You never stop being an immigrant. It's a mentality, and for that matter, it kind of trickles down through generations. And eventually, like those things can kind of dissipate, as they have for most, sort of like white people in America. And you kind of lose, it's almost like amnesia, right? Like you forget what it means. Like you don't think of yourself as an immigrant. You think of yourself as, this is my country, but when you have that immigrant mentality, there's part of you that's trying to justify the move. Why do we go through all this? Why do we come here in the first place? And so then you look at your kids and go like, here's why we came here.
That is fascinating to me when you talk about the immigrant mentality. What I'm hearing you say is, why did my parents go through all this if I'm going to come over here and not achieve, right? Yeah. Or not change my life and better my life. That's there all the time. It's almost like that is supreme motivation, I would think, right?
It's motivation, but the part of the paradox of being an immigrant is that my parents don't know what it's like to grow up in America. They don't understand what it's like to sort of be a part of the fabric of this culture in the way that I did. And so they brought me to a place that they don't really understand, and they're trying to imagine for me a future without having all the information. So when I try to tell my parents, like the kind of work that I do is very healing, it means a lot to people, and I want to change the conversation around a lot of topics and start conversations and facilitate that sort of stuff as part of the cultural sort of dialogue, nationwide and around the world. My parents are like, no, what are you talking? What are you talking about? Like, go be a doctor, go be an engineer.
Right. Just get on with it and overachieve, because that's why we came here, right?
That stuff doesn't make sense to them. It doesn't necessarily have value to them. That's outside of the realm of their possibility, their understanding. And so I have to sort of grow up living, and this is true. I think I've talked about this before in some of my content also, and I get a lot of feedback, and comments and DMs all the time, and folks have said like it really resonates with them. But it's also a thing that no one talks about, and that's been part of my job that I've given myself to sort of imagine.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's something I've never had a discussion about this. I don't think many Americans have had discussions or heard discussions about the immigrant mentality. I mean, immigrants are so pigeonholed in a certain way in this country that nobody ever talks about that perspective. It's the idea of just, taking jobs and coming over borders and, trafficking, human trafficking, that type of thing. You hear about that. You never hear about the perspective of what people coming to this country feel and what they're going through and what they're experiencing. And when you talk about your parents not wanting to put value on gaining an understanding, I think hearing you speak makes me think, my God, if we had, and obviously you've got a lot of followers, you've got a wonderful mouthpiece there, but to get that out and to get that perspective out would be so incredibly helpful. I mean, right? Even here, I'm thinking differently about it. I'm not somebody that believes that close the borders or anything like. I think that I still relate to my ancestors coming over and being shat on when they came over from Ireland. But
how many generations are you?
I'm third.
Yeah,
I'm third or fourth. And my great grandfather is buried in Ireland. So my great grandfather came over. So that's where I am. Would that be third generation? I think probably. I'm not third or fourth.
Right.
But that's incredible when you think about the perspective of it, and what you deal with all the time.
I just like trying to picture you explaining to your parents, "Thank you for bringing me to America so I could be a TikToker."
Yeah.
An influencer, it's what you do. Can they wrap their heads around what you do for a living?
It was funny. Like they couldn't for a long time. And then one day something clicked for them. And I was talking to them on the phone and they said, you know what happened is that one of their friends came to them and said, my grandkid thinks I'm so cool today because they found out I'm friends with Korean dad's parents. And
that is so
I don't know what any of those words mean, except for my grandkids are really impressed.
Would I embarrass you if I asked you to throw out some of your statistics? Because I think that when you hear about people that do what you do, they talk about it a lot. But I don't. I'm still new to it. I don't. I know that I mean, it's still relative. Your influence is worldwide. You are around the world, right? As far as people that you can't have the numbers you have without having that, correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is kind of global. It's mostly U.S. based, mostly sort of English language based. But I mean, total on all platforms, meaning like, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it's called now. YouTube, put it all together, a little over 4 million.
4 million.
Which to me, 4 million, that number, to me, the most meaningful use of that phrase 4 million before was Don and Mike show 4 million, listeners coast to coast.
It's just when you really stop. And I always put it in this perspective when I used to hear numbers on the radio. I would always think of it in terms of a stadium. I would always think of it in those terms, putting that many people in a stadium and doing that. And then, so now when you're talking about the numbers that people have, when did you? I have so many questions about what you do.
I mean, the numbers thing, just to interrupt, like it's the weirdest thing. I'll confess, somewhat embarrassed to say that if I get a video that gets like 10,000 views, I'm like, oh, that was kind of a disappointment. And then I'll go to some kind of event where there's 10,000 people and I'll look around and just think to myself, like, oh my God, like this is an literally unfathomable number of people,
right?
Who saw something that I did. If I was performing for them live, I would feel like, on top of the world, like I was, huge with a crowd of 10,000 people. Like, how could I ever think that 10,000 isn't a huge, success by any stretch?
Well,
but
there's room for it too.
Happens,
when you do what you do, and if someone comes up to you at a cocktail party and says, "What do you do?" What do you say?
I say I make videos for the internet, and
That's
I hope that for a moment they, at least for a fraction of a second, I hope and wish that they wonder if I'm doing something pornographic. and then move on from it. But the way people's minds work, it's like what I can make use of the internet, that's intentionally vague. Let them have a beat. Take a
Right.
beat, think about that for a second, and then there's usually a follow-up question. But I'll say influencer, I'll say content creator. I think that we're talking about how these things have been happening so fast. You think that it's happening fast for you. It's like it's happening fast for humanity. These things are happening so quickly and changing so quickly that our culture can't keep up. But that all said, like there is a certain kind of reactiveness to things, and it's been for me, it's been really interesting and troubling, but also just interesting because it's the sort of things that happen. Observing the whole conversation around influencers. Oh, those influencers! Did you see that influencer? Did this or that? And I think that tends to be when people roll their eyes about influencers, like most of the time they're talking about young women, and what young women do, and
Right.
that just to me, like that's just following the through line of generations of people who have been trying to tell young women what they do is silly and not important and frivolous, and that's not the kind of person that I want to be. And I think that people hopefully think about it a little bit before these.
When did you develop your brand? When did you know this is repeatable? This is something people are tracking with. Was there an aha moment for you?
Not to just be blown smoke or whatever, but so much of it again like goes all the way back to having such a front row seat to you and Rob and everyone at the old show. Just the amount of the raw ingredients being yourselves, but being able to produce games and doing your impressions and reacting to the news and like all these sort of we call them bits, but you break that down. For me it's like, okay, if I'm going to have an online persona, what are my bits, like what are my go-tos, just like with the radio show or with with a podcast, being able to have certain consistency in terms of what people can expect. I ran coffee shops for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
right, which is a whole other thing that I know that you want to talk about coffee at some point too.
I
But,
do.
Running
I want
shops.
free coffee. I want free coffee with you on the show. I want to get free coffee. I send me a satchel of free coffee. That's what I want.
Satchel, a bushel. Running cafes too. It's like, designing experiences and creating experiences for people. And it's always a mix of new and novel and fresh and things that are somewhat comforting, sort of that people can expect.
But the question I asked you was, did you get a moment where you said, holy crap, this is going to work. This is something I've got something going here. Because I would think that would be pretty exciting once you tapped into that and you went, oh my God, the people are responding to this.
It is exciting. It's also like, I don't know how exactly to put this, but it also was very much a feeling of everything I've done in my life has prepared me for this.
Okay.
Kind of thing,
all right.
too. That when I was a teenager, there was a period of time where I thought I was going to be a church pastor.
Really?
I'm not religious. I'm not religious now. That's not a part of my life. But that idea of like the greatest sort of calling for ourselves is to be able to provide something for other people, in whatever gifts that you have and talents and put in the hard work. That's always been sort of like my kind of core seeking thing. And so, being able to do that through the persona of just being my Korean dad self, I never would have expected. I wasn't prepared for. But once it started happening, and it's like I use the analogy of surfing a lot. Like, when you're surfing on the ocean, you don't get to control any of the waves.
Right.
All about timing and being at the right place at the right time, but also having a certain degree of awareness about, how to catch, what's going on. And when you start to see the early signs. And so, that's the best that you can really ask for, I think, for this sort of social media success kind of thing. And maybe, most kinds of success, no one's self-made, right? There's always a timing element, being at the right place at the right time. And so, I like, talking about being an artist before, like I'm always troubled by people, be it your Elon Musks or whoever, who, want to sort of tell a story about themselves, that they are self-actualized and created this life for themselves and this persona. So much of it is support from other people. So much of it is being at the right place at the right time.
Luck.
So much of it is that, someone's going to rise to the top in these situations. Someone's going to be the number one, web store, Amazon, whatever. Like, someone was going to be number one, and it might as well be you. But
Yes.
You does it mean that you have some kind of like special magical powers that other people don't have? It was going to be somebody. It's like winning the lottery in a way, And so for me, I felt like my lottery ticket came in, and here's an opportunity. And then for me, wanting, to do things with meaning and purpose is like, oh, what am I going to do with this? And so that's, a continuous journey.
So you're digging it, and you're doing a good job with it. And I think that ultimately, the why not me? That's, by the way, that's a nice gambler's line too for people that go to Las Vegas. I'm trying to think. What's that guy we had on, Josh? That kid Brixie or Bretsky came on, and it's just my favorite line when he's gambling. He'll take $500, put it into a slot machine. He goes, "Why not us? Why not us?" And then he'll lose. He'll go away. I always root for him to win with that. But yeah, the whole idea of doing what you do, and then taking the success and feeling like you want to help people feel good about themselves. That's kind of the greatest compliment we get in the radio business and now the podcasting business. Is I was going through ABC. It was a terrible time for me. The only time that I could get away from it was when I would turn you guys on, and that is, the first time you hear that, it just elevates you and motivates you to come in here and do it. And the fact to come in and enjoy it. And, as I said, and one of the things I said to Nick before the show, that we're going to move into a direction on the show where we're making little tweaks here and there about a video presence, because there's just so much stuff out there. I find myself now watching people like you, watching clips here, clips there. My way of entertaining myself is more now just constant change, just getting tons of things and seeing, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I don't know, and out of 5,000, you'll look at something, will click with you, and then you'll watch it 50 times. And I can give you an example of what we did. I don't know what show this was on or where he grabbed this guy, but being hired as a radio impressionist, and with Donald Trump being the most impersonated human being in America right now, and I think it's Gillis. Is that the stand-up that does him? He does a Trump. But this guy, I have no idea what the guy's name is, but he is a Trump guy that was found, and the influencer that's asking us to vote on him. I like the guy, so I wanted to bring it to this show. Play the Trump impression. This is
yes
one of the
or
best
no? Is this the greatest impersonation of Donald Trump on the internet? You've been warned.
You can take my ears, but you cannot take my liberty. They want to cut off my ears like the Taliban, but what they don't know is my ears can grow back like SpongeBob through budding, by the way. Hit me with your best shot, why don't you? Because if that's the best you got, you're a loser. You're such a loser, you missed so bigly. By the way, you had a big opportunity. You could have made my head blow.
It froze on us there,
grow
Josh.
Back bigger and better. It will have better hearing. I will hear like an owl.
It was, I love it. That's my favorite thing right there. Locked up. How's your storm up there in the northern part of the state now, where you're getting whacked, Josh?
Yeah, if anything acts weird, it's because of the storm. I keep hearing the wind pick up.
Yeah, we are in the middle of Debbie. What a nice innocent name. What a bitch.
Yeah, with a Y.
Debbie. It's
the
terrible.
Wind is just blowing those internet tubes around, and things get all kinked up.
There's a bunch of water on the ground. Who knows?
I have to ask, are you mocking him there, Nick, by saying it's going to affect, or are you saying that there's no way it could affect the internet?
I mean, I'm sure it does. I live in California. We have California internet out here. So.
And what is California internet? What is it? Better than ours?
I'm here on 1 gig fiber optic, which has been pretty rock solid since I've had it.
It's rock solid for me. It is right now. Yeah. We're getting fiber optics in my neighborhood.
I have here, but Florida. It's generally not the internet that's the problem. It's the power.
Oh yeah,
the power around here causes issues all the time.
Yeah, we have that as well, and it's been difficult. And I want to talk about it later in the show. We'll talk about what's happening, and I've seen the future with this particular storm. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got a wonderful news segment, and we're here with Nick Cho, otherwise known as your Korean dad, who's sitting in for Rob Spiewak, who's going to Hershey Park today. Not a big travel day for him. We'll take a break, and we'll come right back, everybody. Hey, everybody, I want to tell you about FitBod. Yes, FitBod. Whether you're a seasoned gym goer or just starting your fitness journey, what your workout really needs is FitBod. It's a fitness app that customizes each workout based on your goals and adapts them as you improve. FitBod tailors a personal workout based on your time and equipment. I am not kidding you. As we're talking about FitBod, and we just talked about fiber optics, I can hear them outside. They are taking care. They are literally connecting me to the fiber optic. They are here working today on this as we talked about it. But let me get back to FitBod. It tailors you a personal workout based on your time and your equipment constraints. So whether you've got 10 minutes or 2 hours, FitBod can help you get better with each workout. FitBod creates a personalized workout routine based on your goals, your fitness level, and available equipment. FitBod tracks your muscle recovery so you can avoid burnout and keep up your momentum. It's like a personal trainer, but better. It's cheaper. It's easier to build a custom fitness plan that works for you. Add FitBod to your workout essentials. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app for free at fitbod.me/TMOS. That's fitbod.me/TMOS. Hit the music, Josh Soroka. There it is. Fantastic news, ladies and gentlemen. I got it right here in my hot little hand. We start today with the Olympics. Are you following the Olympics at all, Nick? Are you paying attention to it?
I'm trying to. It's harder here from California just because you wake up and half the games have already
But it's all, isn't it kind of all over the place with the European time? I mean, the Olympics has always been like that. I thought that I would be more into it than I am now. I am not as into it as I have been in the past. Maybe it's the Winter Olympics, but I'll look in on it periodically, but it's not catching the fire that I thought it would. I'm very surprised at that, to be honest with you. I'm not watching as much of it as I should, but I'll do you the recap right now. Team USA had a big weekend at the Olympics, if you didn't know, ending it tied for the lead in gold medals, which is pretty good for our side. We won 6 medals on Friday. 3 silvers in shooting, equestrian, and swimming, plus 3 bronze medals in sailing, archery, and track and field, but no golds that day. Then a huge Saturday, 18 more medals, 5 of them gold. Simone Biles won the vault. Ryan Krauser won his 3rd straight gold in men's shot put. I saw those guys. Those guys are badasses. They really, really are. I love watching that. And, the one guy, I think it was this guy they're talking about, Ryan Krauser, trim the beard better. Trim the beard better. I mean, really, the beard was just very unkempt. You can have a long beard, but I mean, get the frizzy side off of it. I didn't care for that. I didn't like that. Go ahead.
Shot put I appreciate because it's like one of the OG, as the kids would say, one of the OG.
Yeah, back in the day, right? Back in the day, they did it back when the Greeks were doing it naked.
Exactly.
Right? They just took the rock.
Track and field, like high schools do it. It's a traditional sport.
And it's cool. It's cool to watch, and it really is. Watching it a little bit, I guess everybody was kind of watching it at the same time. Watching it over the weekend, it gave me a little more perspective on how difficult it is to do what they do. So I thought that was kind of cool. I enjoyed the shot put. Let's see here. Vincent Hancock. That's a ye old name, isn't it? Vincent Hancock won his 4th gold in men's skeet. Was that skeet shooting? Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
the swimming team set a world record in the mixed medley relay. Did you know, Nick, that when I was a 9-year-old boy, I set the Connecticut 10 and under record for the freestyle medley?
I did know that. No, I didn't.
And it was broken like it took like 20 more years to break it. It was great. We had Brad Peters from my hometown. It was an amazing swimmer, and he's why we got it. Anyway, Katie Ledecky, she won her 800-meter race to score the 9th gold of her career. Ties her for second most all time, and she's hoping to compete again in 2028, so she's still going to do it. Michael Phelps is first on that list with an insane 23 gold medals in his career. Sunday was another big day for 10 more medals, 5 of them gold. Noah Lyles, the sprinter, won his 100-meter race by 5 1,000ths of a second. That's pretty good. Kristen Faulkner took gold in women's cycling after making the team as a sub. How about that?
I saw that too. That was fun.
Swimmer Bobby Fink won the men's 1,500-meter freestyle race. The women's swimming team won their medley relay, setting a new world record along the way. And golfer Scotty Scheffler shot 9 under par in his final round to win by a stroke. Added up, Team USA ends the weekend sitting pretty, 71 medals total. Then China at 45, France with 44, Great Britain with 37, and Australia with 31. That is your Olympic recap, ladies and gentlemen. So there, I did that for you, and I get credit for that. Hit the boom thing. Thank you. Steven Tyler, this is sad for me. I'm a huge fan. He is never going to fully recover from his vocal issues. So on Friday, AEROSMITH announced that they have made the, quote, heartbreaking and difficult but necessary decision to retire from the touring stage. That's a bummer. But, I mean, what is he, 80 now? 75? Something like that?
Didn't they say that about Celine Dion, too? That she was never going to sing again? And then there she is at the Olympics, opening ceremonies.
There's always modern medicine, Nick. There's
And
always modern medicine.
you have to retire to do a comeback tour.
Exactly, right.
You're 76 years
you're
old.
such cynics, you two. You're such young cynics. Everything's got to be cynical. What if you just can't sing anymore? Come on, goddammit. They added, quote, we are grateful beyond words for everyone who was pumped to get on the road with us one last time. Play our music loud, now and always. Dream on. You've made our dreams come true. And as someone who I remember seeing Steven Tyler when he had a knee brace on because he was such a trooper. He blew out his knee and then he came out. But when he does that little serpentine dancing, it didn't work with the knee brace too well. That's my Aerosmith memory.
Don't you also feel like the way that Steven Tyler sang, it's like a baseball pitcher that overthrows and isn't really right. It's like you're gonna do that kind of screaming with your voice, and not to blame the victim here.
Yeah, I understand.
You got to imagine that's got to take its toll.
I also imagine it's not babied when off the stage.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the SR factor, right, Josh Roca? You're talking about steady drugging, steady drugging, which he does, but that they quit that a long time ago. But as far as Sammy Hagar, he sings like that, and I think the tequila has medicinal properties. I really do. Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah,
broke 2 Guinness World Records thanks to his return as Blade in Deadpool.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a spoiler. They said I should say that, but I don't care. He now has the longest career as a live-action Marvel character. His return comes 25 years and 240 days after his first appearance in Blade in 1998. This is the first time that comic book characters will rear their ugly head on the Mike O'Mara Show today. I normally don't pay attention to these characters, but I will have it today. If it weren't for his cameo, Hugh Jackman would have taken the record for Snipes' cameo. He would have taken the world record after first appearing in X-Men in 2000. Patrick Stewart previously held it for... Do people care about this, Nick? Do people care about the record for, Yeah.
Well, it also they're also holding it strict to Marvel, because we had they had the whole big deal with Keaton coming back as Batman like last year. That has to be older.
All right. I guess people do care about things like this. Patrick Stewart previously held it for appearing in X-Men and in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
It keeps us excited. The statistics and the records and stuff, it keeps us excited, right?
Snipes also broke the record for the longest gap between character appearances in Marvel. The last time he played Blade was in 2004, Blade Trinity, which is a gap of 19 years and 231 days and 4 hours and 52 seconds. That's it. I know. No, that was 4 hours. 4 hours longer. He had 4 hours longer. I swear to God. A new study analyzed touring data from 200 of the most popular acts and compared their average ticket prices to the average lengths of their shows. As it turns out, Bruno Mars is the costliest artist at $2.19 per minute. I will give you the top 5. Number 5 is a country artist, very popular. You always hear that name, George Strait, $1.77 per minute. The Rolling Stones, $1.78 per minute. Drake, $1.81 per minute. U2, $2.12 per minute. And then Bruno Mars at the top. You're paying a whopping $2.19 per minute for his stuff. Which is, have you ever seen Bruno Mars in concert, Nick?
I actually have.
I'd love to go to see that show. Yeah. That's why he gets $2.19 a minute, because it's a wide variety of people that like to go see him. How was he in concert?
He was a great showman, as they say.
Right.
And who doesn't love Bruno Mars? But it's breaking it down by like value per minute. This is one of those things, right? Especially in the age of social media, where it's like everything is about the value proposition, and is this worth my time? Like, it makes total sense that we'd get statistics like that. Also, kind of bums me out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that really with the cost per concert, that's a better statistic for everybody to pay attention. Started, as far as I'm concerned, started with the Eagles when you heard what they were charging for their shows, and like so many things in life nowadays, tough to reach for a lot of people.
Yeah.
To get out and see the show. The NFL, another thing, getting tougher and tougher to reach. I mean, going over to see the Giants, who suck, play Miami, was something I chose not to do because of the value proposition with that. Make these things more reachable for people. All right, that's just my opinion. But Taylor Swift, no price, priceless. Doesn't matter to me. I will see her at any cost.
I hear the fear in your voice about defending the Swifties out there.
Swifties. Hi, Swifties.
And I think it puts the bonus show at less than a nickel a minute.
Thank you.
Puts that as the best deal.
Thank you. I love you, man. That's why you are my new hero. I love you, Josh Soroka. I truly do. That is a value proposition right there, isn't it? Fantastic. Go get it today. Finally today, the joke. We have a little video for this today. The joke has always been that having a huge package makes you better at pole vaulting. Now, I think that might be just shtick. I'm not sure. But that's not how things went for French pole vaulter Anthony Amirati. On one of his vaults on Saturday, he knocked over the bar. It appeared he knocked over the bar with his bulge. Let's show the video right here. There he goes, and oh my God!
See, that's a situation where everyone's saying bulge or package.
Yes.
I want more specificity in my sort of sports reporting. Like, was it the twig? Was it the berries?
It was the twig. Show it one more time. I will probably get in trouble. No, we won't. We won't get in trouble. It's the internet now.
What happened here, Coach?
Hold on. We're going to show it again.
It's a Bruder film.
Oh, now he's reversing it. Oh, that's because the.
There you go. Is that clear enough?
Here he goes. Thank you. Oh my!
Can we zoom in and enhance, please?
Yeah. Good Lord! Good Lord. Dun, 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 dun. Wow.
I like the one announcer trying to get the other announcer to talk. What exactly are we seeing here?
What are we seeing here? That's incredible. Hey, take a look at this guy. All right. Anyway, if you notice and you're paying attention to this detail, which nobody was, his legs hit the bar first. So it's a failed vault before Willie even gets into the act. That's it. Also, there was only one of his 3 attempts to clear 5.70 meters and make it to the final. He missed on all 3. So it's just, he just couldn't do it. That's why, not because of his thing. Meanwhile, the Irish men's pole vaulters have not been active since the days when they were laughed out of Greece. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sirree. We're the Irish. Hey, we don't have to worry about that with our pole vaults. No, not with our mushroom ceremony. Not at all, Clancy. We'll take a break. Come back on the Mike O'Mara Show. Whoa.
Fans all over are giving rave reviews about the latest bonus show.
Corny's not the word I would use.
Okay.
Jive-ass bullshit.
Mike shares his fascination about the latest summer blockbuster.
When you go to Twisters,
Mike, it's got to be good because they pluralized it.
While Rob realizes that he's an influencer.
Now, that's a dick thing to say.
Do what he says. He's an influencer.
Hi, this is Rob. Could I speak to the Vice President for Marketing for King's Dominion?
Don't forget your subscription of the TMOS bonus show grants you exclusive access to the TMOS supporters page on Facebook. Log in now and share the fun with your friends today.
Hey, who's got a case of Sprite? Hi, everybody. There I am. Look at me. Hey, time is running out. We now have just a few left. There they are. Floating in the air. A few left of the brand new TMOS Summer Caps, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimate accessory for fans who want to show their support while staying cool. Feel that cool. It's available in red, white, light blue, or black, ensuring there's a perfect match for everyone. Plus, tickets and merch for the Grand Reunion Las Vegas weekend. By the way, if you want to come, you can get him for free, Nick. You're invited. Just join us. The ultra cool TMOS commemorative coin. It commemorates great times and big fun. So hurry up and support the show you love. Every purchase keeps the laughs coming. Just click store at MikeO'MaraShow.com, the source for all things TMOS. Official, authentic, awesome. Thank you for your support. And remember our motto, I can't believe it's not butter. There it is. That is it. Hi. Well, we're here with Nick Cho. Nick is known as your Korean dad, and he knows all things dad, and he has lots of people that pay attention to him on a variety of platforms, and we are delighted to have you get up early in California and join us down here in, we used to be sunny South Florida. We are underwater. I have seen the future, Nick. I have seen the future, and it's not going to be a giant tidal wave, but you can slowly but surely see the way it's going to happen. And this is how it's going to happen. And I don't have to have a meteorological degree to be able to tell you how it's going to happen. I can tell you by simply watching the local news. Slowly but surely, every single year, it's more and more. And what I'm talking about is even a storm that doesn't give us a direct hit, you get a situation where the tide comes in at the particular time and the streets flood. And that is going to continue. It doesn't have to be a devastating roof blow-off hurricane every time. It can be just the tail end of what was a tropical storm, not even a hurricane. And here we had many, many areas, the areas that got racked with Hurricane Ian that were still underwater. And I think when you talk about sea level and all that, that's the way it's going to happen in all these coastal areas. And it's going to be slow. It's going to be steady. And at a certain point, it's not going to be outrage because we'll have time to kind of get our heads around the fact that, well, we used to go down to that beach community, but it really isn't doable anymore. Right. Because it used to be fine and now it's underwater. That's the way it's going to happen down here. I don't know what kind of weather you're getting out there, but, that's what we have now. That's the new reality,
I mean, I think that when I was in the D.C. area, because this country's so big, you get a better sense of the sort of regional,
Mhm.
even from DC, you get a better sense of what's going on in Florida. You
Right.
get kind of isolated, I think, out here on the West Coast.
You feel like you're in a bubble. I do down in Florida. I feel like I'm in a bubble sometimes down here because of just the rhythm of life. Do you have because warm weather climates are conducive to that to a degree. Does that have anything to do with it?
Well, I mean that, but it's also just as we've been saying, like there's a lot of excuse me, a lot of content on the internet to pay attention to. Like you just dropped the name of a hurricane. What did you say, Ivan?
Ian.
Ian. See, then I felt a little bit ashamed, like I didn't know, who the governor of the state was. That kind of thing. Like I'm not up with current events, and I felt bad.
You don't know Ron DeSantis?
No. I'm saying that that I not knowing.
You didn't know Hurricane Ian, the hurricane that devastated Southwest Florida?
No, here I'm still trying to understand the difference between the 15 and the 110.
Yeah, but you know what? I can tell you this: you have the same kind of knowledge I would have probably about your wildfires that are also a result of what's happening to our wonderful planet here, which we tend to ignore.
That's kind of that's the California equivalent of all the hurricanes and everything in the South.
Yeah, you get the earthquakes, you get the wildfires, you get the mudslides. And what are you dealing with anything right now out there, tragically?
There are little ones that pop up all the time. We just moved here to outside of San Diego a little over a month ago. Renting this really nice house that we found. We couldn't get renter's insurance at the beginning because of the wildfires.
To me, the idea of natural disasters, number one would be tornado. I would be absolutely, because tornadoes hit so fast and they're a surprise. When you get whacked by a tornado and you get hurt by a tornado, it's because you really don't know it's coming and you don't have the warning. And if you're not paying attention, you don't have a media source, you get whacked. But right behind that would be the concept of fires. When I've seen those videos of mountain locations where people are driving through the embers, there's nothing that freaks me out more. With a hurricane, yes, devastating if you live down at the beach. I'm 13 miles away from the beach down here. And you have tremendous opportunity to flee, which is my plan. They always say, have a plan. It's to flee. Wildfires, you can wake up in the morning and one started in the neighborhood next to you, and suddenly with the wind, it's usually fueled by wind, right? Yes. That's terrifying. So are you close enough to be experiencing any of these right now?
Definitely. There have been brush fires, frighteningly close by. When I lived in San Francisco too, there was, I don't know if you saw the pictures a few years ago, I think it was 2020, when the skies turned this weird crimson red, like some kind of Lord of the Rings situation. That was because of nearby wildfires. What are we going to do? Where are we going to flee from all these natural disasters?
Isn't that a great word? Flee. What do you need to do? Flee! Flee as soon as you can. But down here, this is just my own personal bitch about the people and preparedness for that. You hear a lot about it. I'm sure this is going to fall on deaf ears, but I just like to say to the developers down here, to you that build the parking lots, could you perhaps build them in a different way so that I don't have to go through mid-calf water to get to my sushi restaurant on a Sunday? I mean, because really, yes. Are we getting a lot of rain? Yes. Are the roads flooded? No. Are the roads inside the shopping center leading to the parking lots flooded? No. But the parking lots underwater, severely underwater, and I found it tremendously inconvenient. It's just a pain in the ass.
So you want them to just put a drain in. You think
put a decent drain in? Absolutely.
It's like on the golf course where they just take that little round thing and they just poke a new hole.
Do you hit the egg? Do you ever hit the egg? Do you ever get out there and play?
I do from time to time. Last time I played, I broke 100 again.
Really? So you enjoy the sport?
I don't know if enjoyment is the right word. I'm one of those people. I'm a social golfer. I like when my friends invite me out, and I like spending the time. Okay. I think that the game itself, I got to admit that it's not. That's not where the enjoyment comes from for me, but I'm happy to do it.
Well, I mean, your
Did I insult your religion?
I'm thinking I'm trying to think of the player right now. Wildly popular in Korea is the game, I think, right?
Yes.
It's internationally, that's probably one of the most wildly popular games with that. Oh, KJ Choi. Choi, a Korean golfer who was fantastic. And that's what I do down here, Nick. I do that, and I am now encountering guys that are a little bit older than me. And this is the phenom that I see myself in this role, and it's not going to be long before. And I'll give you an example. Buddy of mine comes walking in, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you out there lately." He said, "I stopped playing." I said, "Really?" "Yeah, I haven't played since Memorial Day." I said, "Really?" And I'm almost incredulous that one of our regular group would just stop, but they get tired of playing crappy, and they finally just say, enough, because it's a journey, it's a quest, and once the quest, you come to the conclusion. I'm pretty close to that. I think another 5 years I might be at that level where you just say, I will never improve, and if you think you can never improve, then why are you out here? Why are you out here? That's because I take it probably a little more seriously than you do.
I've been thinking about this a lot for the past few weeks. Like that exact situation that you just described, where you realize that you're getting too old. Someone's getting too old for something and should step aside. Are we going to start calling that like I think I'm gonna Joe Biden out from golf?
That might be Joe Biden out. I think you might have to say that. And although if you're Joe Bidening out, doesn't someone else have to tell you? Doesn't someone else have to exert pressure on you? And that, can you imagine? Can you imagine how horrible that would be? Can you imagine how horrible it would be to have? Well, we have it in our group because we play in what's called the low handicap group. And if you are over a 15 to 17 handicap, no, it's over 17. If you're over a 17 handicap, you can't be in the group. And that's the way but see, it's just a rule so you can bow out gracefully and just not show up one day. Where's Phil? Oh, Phil shot another 99 and he will not be joining us today. But the idea, if you're Bidening out, would be someone has to tap you on the shoulder and go, Mike, listen, what are you doing? What are you doing? Isn't it time? Isn't it time to watch golf on TV, eat an ice cream sandwich and just sit there in your own urine? Isn't that really what you should do right now?
It's taking the car keys from grandma.
The car keys from
time will tell if that kind of cliche or colloquialism kind of emerges, right?
Are you trying to push it right now? Bidening out? Is
trying to make that happen, right? But bidening out does it mean like you're saying, like somebody taking your car keys situation? Is it you bowing out gracefully on your own, or is it not going to be like Joe Bidening out? Is it going to be like your golf buddy is going to be like, you know what? I think starting next week, y'all are going to have to start playing with Kamala.
Speaking of Kamala, Josh, this is really for you, because you live in my state. How it is. You know how it is here. You live in a red county. I live in a red county, but my county I think might be a little redder than your county. I really believe that. I've got a purchase that I made because, like a lot of Democrats, once old Joe, saw the writing on the wall, made the decision, either forced or not, but got out, and they anointed Kamala to be the nominee. I have to say, like a lot of Democrats, I have felt the excitement. I have been a little jacked because we've gone from, oh my God, we're not even going to be able to mount a decent defense of our turf to, okay, we have a shot at this thing. And it's exciting. It's exciting for a variety of reasons because we've been dealing with old blow spit bubbles Joe for a very, very long time. And it's been kind of frustrating, even though I love the man and I like what he stands for. And he's a good man, I believe, and a decent man. And there are a lot of people screaming at me right now. But when she came in to the race, I got a little swagger. I saw my boys down at Happy Valley, and I kind of sashayed in and like, hello, how you guys doing? It was fun. It really was. Did you say something, Josh? I'm sorry, I heard something.
No.
Okay, good.
No, I don't believe so.
But I made a purchase. And the question I have for you is, this is a purchase I saw online an actor, a famous actor, was wearing this T-shirt. I think it was Ryan Reynolds that was wearing this T-shirt, and
very tall man.
I kind of had to have it.
Do you think was it really Ryan Reynolds, or was it one of those ads where they just photoshopped the shirt?
Very possible it was. Very possible it was. But Ryan Reynolds, because he is so pretty, and I'm so attracted to him, that motivated me to buy this right away, and I did. I found it, I purchased it, and it's coming today. The question I will have, let me tell you what it is first, Josh, and then I've got a question for you.
Okay.
The
I think I've got a
T-shirt,
picture of it.
The T-shirt is Kamala with the Tide logo, and it's got the circle, and it's got just Kamala across, and then
I've got it right here for you.
Removes stubborn orange stains, and that's it. That's my T-shirt that I ordered. What do you think of that, Nick? Do you like that?
I mean, that's a flame war right there, right? As you're being incendiary, you're shooting across the bow of all the MAGA folks out there.
Yeah, you're asking for conversations with that.
Oh boy! So you're answering the question I had for you. Do you think I should wear it out of the house?
Absolutely.
Well, you're in California. I'm not asking you. I'm asking old Josh here. Do you think? I don't want to have something that is so incendiary that and it's not like F Biden, which are flags that I see down here.
Well, it's not appropriate for the golf course. So it's about where you're going to wear it.
That's it. That's true.
When
Can't
you're
wear
going
it
out to drink, or you go into bowling night wearing the Kamala shirt.
Neither one. I wouldn't have the guts to wear it in either circumstance. I'm thinking like the trip to the grocery store would be a test mission. A trip to the because I'm not going to put anything on my.
If you're going to Trader Joe's, you're probably fine. If you're going to Publix, you might have an issue.
Walmart, no, right?
Right,
not at all. Not Walmart.
You're a white guy. What's going to happen to you? Is someone going to sucker punch you from the back? What are you worried about that's going to happen if you wore the shirt?
You don't know me that well, Nick. You were with us a long, long time ago, but I do not necessarily avoid conflict all the time. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm not trying to get into a fight, but at the same time, I have been suffering through exclusive negativity about my team down here. Exclusively. Yes, Josh.
And I will say, it is where you live and where I live. There's Trump flags in every parking lot. There's a Trump flag on some truck.
Yes.
And so you're getting a bunch of it from the other side. I say, go ahead, wear the T-shirt out. Just make sure Carla's recording at the same time. Let's get some video work.
Selfish motivations. Selfish motivations. I get it. That's the way that goes. We will take a break. When we come back, I haven't really even scratched the surface with Nick Cho. I need to know more. He's being cryptic. He's being a little cryptic. I want to see if I can get more out of him, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. I want to tell you about Naked Wines. Did you know Americans pay about twice as much for their wine as the rest of the world? Why? Because laws dating back to Prohibition ensure the right of wholesalers to make big margins. That's crazy stuff. Now, we are down, and I am embarrassed to say this, to our last bottle from my case of wines that I got from Naked Wines. Once again, I have not had one clunker in the entire case. They're all great. Listen up. This podcast is sponsored by Naked Wines. It's a subscription service that seamlessly connects you to the finest independent winemakers on the planet. So you get a box of the market's best quality wines for a fraction of the price you'd normally pay in stores. Plus, you can pause or cancel at any time. Go to nakedwines.com/TMOS. And I loved my case of wine. This is the second go-round I've had. First was Thanksgiving. Then I got it again. You know that little restaurant thing where you get the corkage fee where you can bring your own bottle in there with you? You know, I loved that. I loved how good it was the other night. This is Friday I had this wine. So go to nakedwines.com/TMOS. Click the enter voucher in the top right when you get to the website. Then enter TMOS for both the code and password. That gets you 6 bottles of wine for this price, $39.99. Get that in California. Get that out there where Nick lives. You won't. Shipping is included. $100 off and less than $7 per bottle. Nakedwines.com/TMOS and use the code and password TMOS for $100 off your first 6 bottles. Cheers. Nick, We've got a time for just a second here. I wanted to ask you, as far as I'm embarrassed to say this. I know you have that big number of people. I know your name. I've looked at your hot dog video that you did.
Okay.
This is going to sound, I'm not being insulting. Please, I want you to come back tomorrow to do one more show with me. I'm not meaning to interrupt. But is that what you do? Is that pretty much, I mean, when you come, are they all short like that, your videos, or what? I'm trying to frame this question so I don't sound like a dummy, and I don't, you do those quickie little shots? Is that what it is? Hey, it's your Korean dad. Here's a hot dog. What is it?
They're little short ones like that are just kind of silly little scenes, I guess.
What the fuck am I doing wrong? Jesus Christ almighty.
There are I have ones where I kind of give a little pep talk of sorts, or like a heart to heart, I think is probably a better way to put it. I have those.
Can you give me one?
Some cooking ones.
Can you give me a pep talk?
You want a Korean dad pep talk?
Yeah, I want a Korean dad. Just a brief one, just like you would when you do your videos. I need one on my golf game, which has really suffered lately.
On your golf game.
It's been 88, 89, 88, 89, 88, 89, and I'm used to 83, 84, 83, 84. And I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a big deal to me, and I get really, really depressed, and I want to go out there and impress my friends and play better. That's it. You have the setup. That's it. Give me a pep talk. Come on, give me a pep talk.
Hey, Mike, I'm your Korean dad. I do a little head. It's a little head pat thing. People think I'm waving at the camera. It's actually like a little head pat because I like getting a little head pat.
Let me put my semi-balding head on there. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, I'm your Korean dad. I know you're really worried about your golf game.
Yeah.
And that, when you get out there, that sometimes you're scoring in the high 80s, low 90s, and it doesn't feel good.
No.
And it feels like, where's my game going? I was better than this. That I should be better than this. People are embarrassed to be playing with me. I should have worn a larger shirt today. But you know what, Mike? The more important thing is that those golf games, they're really about you having fun and being able to get back to taking care of your family, getting back to making people happy and laugh on the show. So whether you're scoring 83 or 73 or 93, the most important thing is that you're having fun.
Oh man, that's it. Now I know. Did you feel that magic, Josh? Did you feel that?
Yes, and I've seen many of his videos like this.
That is something to behold right there. Oh my God, I just feel like I've been baptized. I feel like somebody just dumped me in water. What?
You do the personalized ones like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, see, now you've tapped into a whole new income stream. We'll be right back, everybody. Hey, Las Vegas, the time is now. TMOS returning to Las Vegas for our grand reunion weekend, Saturday, November 9th. Come be a part of a live poolside taping of your favorite podcast, that's us, on the elegant rooftop citrus deck of the downtown Grand Hotel. Book your rooms now so you don't miss any of the fun. It's a full-scale hotel takeover. I'm feeling the magic of Nick's blessing right now. Take the whole weekend and be a part of our exclusive slots and blackjack tournaments, the ladies of TMOS brunch. Special discounted hotel rates, limited edition swag, plus surprises and a whole lot more. Grab your tickets and more info at MikeO'MaraShow.com. There's no better way to reunite with your TMOS family and no better place to do it. Join us as we take over the downtown Grand Hotel the weekend of November 9th. We can't wait to see you. Play the thingy, Josh. Go for it. Here we go. How about that? Seamless performance. That's awesome. I love that. Man, I was looking forward to this. Now, doing this over the weekend, what Rob normally brings you these videos, and I have gotten really jacked because I could have today conservatively brought you 30 or 40 of them. That's how much I enjoyed putting this together. But this is what I have. You be the judge. We start today with I love trick shots online. You know what I'm talking about. When the guy's like at a 10-story building and he throws a basketball down to 9 stories and it goes through the hoop and they go out of their minds. So I give you a warning on this one. This is nothing better than trick shots. Look at how skilled this guy is. But here it is. Wait for it till the end. Roll the tape of the trick shot artist.
Das ist der Trickschüsse hinter dem Rücken. Nun, es gibt viele große Namen im Trickschüsse-Spiel. Wir haben Dude Perfect, How Ridiculous, That's Amazing. Aber es gibt einen neuen Hund in der Stadt. Schau, ich bin hier, zu beweisen, dass diese Trickschüsse nicht so schwer sind. Lass uns einen Weltrekord aufstellen. Oh, man.
Wait a minute. God. What happened? What happened? I that's it.
Are you looking for this?
Yes, I'm looking. What happened to that video? Oh my God, what happened?
He went to show off some other things and then come back.
Oh, okay. All right, I get it. All right.
So
what was the German? Was I hearing German?
Yeah, isn't this a German guy that you sent me?
No, I thought he was English. He was English when I saw it. I don't know what happened, but
I don't know.
It was strange. But anyway, do it. Show it one more time, and then you'll see what he does at the end.
Aber ich kann es nicht alleine schaffen.
Das hätten sie ohne uns nicht geschafft.
Konnte es nicht tun.
Du bist der Trickschüsse-Typ, der Handlanger in Grün hat, um deine Würfe zu machen. Ja, schau dir das an.
Nick, green screen's fake.
Okay, yeah, it's
that part's fake. It's not. He does the real trick shots.
Where did German come from?
Where'd the German? He makes the trick shots?
Yeah. That's not.
I thought it's the green screen is why he makes the shots.
No, I think the green screen is just faking it. Like
you really do? You think that's just he adds that in just to make it look like he might have been faking it, and he's not really doing it that way?
That's how I take it. That's how I take it whenever.
What about you, Nick? Do you think he's really making those shots, or the guys are helping him that are wearing the green suits?
I think neither one is true. I think neither one. I think it's like a third way that they did it. That it's a whole gig, or a whole bit that I think they're trying to do.
All right.
But it's because I know how these YouTubers think.
Okay. And the timing of those shots and the green screen guys, doesn't line up.
Okay.
The blue baskets in the way.
We can actually rename when I bring the videos to the show. Now we can rename this "Mike is a Rube."
Well, that's the reason they're showing that is for someone to believe it, and then more content.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing the show with 2 far younger men than me. And,
that guy's. It just comes to me. That guy's name is AEROSMITH, AIRRACK, and he's a big YouTuber. He's very.
Is he German?
No, he's not German.
I don't know how it got. I didn't send you one that was in German. I don't know what the hell happened. Let's move on. This is just freaky, scary AI weirdness at its best. I bring this to you simply because I was fascinated by how it worked. It looked so cool to me.
I'm physically averting my eyes from this.
Play it one more time for Nick. Go on. Look at it. I force you to look at it. Go ahead.
I don't think cool is the word.
Did I say cool?
Yeah.
You know what I think about? I think about Pirates of the Caribbean when I see that. The guy that they did that with, that's just taking it to the extreme.
Davy Jones.
Yeah. I mean, it's just anything. You create anything now. 90% of the movies we watch, you'll see a city street. It's not a city street at all. It's just all created now. It's all an artificial world. It's wonderful. I think it's great.
AI can't do what you do.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. And I'm an artist. I love working with him. My ego is fine today. I am solid as an effing rock. All right. Just for you, because you are your Korean dad, the team from Korea faced off. I have no idea whether this was an Olympic clip or not. I hope it wasn't because NBC gets weird about it. But this is the team from Korea involved in a game against China. And I thought I'd share it for Nick. This is it seems a little unfair to me. Roll the clip of the basketball, please. There she is. That's the Chinese player in white. And watch the Korean player here. Watch. She doesn't even make an effort. She doesn't even. And now she gets down to the basket. There we go. 7'4". She's 7'4". There it is. That's just not. That's.
The tallest on the other team comes up to her numbers.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So I don't know what the final score was, Nick. I didn't get that one, but I thought I'd play that for you. Just Team Korea, way to go.
For me, yes.
Thank you. Moving right along, I love dialects. I put this in here today because these two wonderful, cute friends, best buds, it looks like, were not criticizing, they were mocking each other's dialects. I just thought this was two girls having fun and being cute. Roll the tape.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Digger Bell.
Taco Bell.
Doritos.
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 Nike.
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 You don't say bikey. Bike. Nike.
Just do it. Adidas.
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 IKEA.
Ikea.
What?
Ikea.
What's IKEA? Uniqlo.
What the fuck is that?
Aeropostale.
Aeropostal.
Aeropostale. Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Vuitton.
There you go. That's it. There
Cartier.
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 That's just her mocking part was the fun. It was just fun. I like that. Moving right along here. Call me a dirty old man, but I did linger on the new Billie Eilish video. Have you seen it yet, Nick?
No, I saw that there was a new song.
There's a new song, and this is kind of the video that they're putting with it. Let's check out the new Billie Eilish.
You wanna guess the color of my underwear? You wanna know what I got going on down there? Is it pretty in pink or all see-through? Is it showing off my brand new lower back tattoo? You wanna put them in your mouth, pull them all down south. You wanna turn this shit out. That's what
I
I'm
think we've got
talking
enough of it. I think we've got enough of that right there. That's and that's you can put that out there. You can put that out there. That's fine. And I'm guilty of finding it and sharing it with you. Now I feel unclean. I feel unclean
right.
somehow.
The only reason to share it, you just wanted to share it. No comments.
Yeah. Because if I make any comments on it, I'll just appear to be exactly what I am, which is a bit of a dirty old man. By the way, I didn't even get to the Billie Eilish part where she comes in, comes in like with a bulldozer.
That's Charlie XCX. That's where the whole like Kamala Brat. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, and she's lovely, and I've always been a fan of Billie Eilish too. So who do you who's the one with the more juice in this situation? Is it Charlie or is it Billie Eilish?
I mean, Billie is unquestionably a bigger artist,
star, right?
Yeah,
but this is going to be huge for the other artist.
For Charlie XCX, I mean, it's a bop. I mean, like everything that Billie Eilish does with her brother, what's that guy's name? Phineas. He's the producer for all her music. Like genius.
Why don't you ask me who Charlie XCS is?
Charlie XC who? S X.
I don't know who it is. Doing the best I can. All right, just trying to stay in the game. That's about it. I am not a Comic-Con guy. Nick earlier was talking about what it might be, envisioning what it is to have a large group of people in a stadium, whether it's 10,000, whether it's 500, but just have a reaction. This might be a spoiler alert. I have no idea. We're back to the comic book reality.
This is everywhere. You're safe.
This is everywhere. They love their heroes. Listen carefully to this reaction to a Robert Downey Jr. reveal from some movie where he plays some character for some superhero. All right? Check this out, how they react when he's revealed. Check this out. Would you like to get that reaction, Nick? Look at that. And he's just Robert Downey Jr. being Mr. Cool again. All right.
So
Can I? Yeah, go ahead.
Get you a mask for Vegas.
I'd love to have a mask for Vegas.
Bring you out like that.
All right, get ready. I'm going to do it right now. Here we go. Play the video, and I'll just. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike O'Mara. Thank you. Please sit down. Sit down. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's quite a reaction.
Isn't it? The RDJ thing. Doctor Doom. He'll be playing in future movies. This was like a big pivot that Marvel had to do. They've been a little bit, not so much in trouble, but they've been in a slump. So that's them trading for Tom Brady kind of thing.
And they had a problem because their big bad guy got canceled in real life. Yes. So they had to do something.
Gentlemen, this is complimentary young guys helping out the old guy. Thank you. God bless both of you. This is wonderful. Finally today, I love cats. Not. But let me know if you have a cat. What's that, Nick?
The musical.
No, not I don't care for the musical. I don't care for cats in general. I have never been a big fan. But you got to love a cat that, I don't know whether they're giving him a bath or taking him to the vet. I don't know, but he's being handled and he doesn't like it. Share the cat with our wonderful listening audience.
Look at those gloves.
Sounds like a foreign country where that was happening. I'm not sure, but that's the cats. That's it for the Mike O'Meara Show. Hey, Nick, I love it. So you bring that Marvel stuff in that I don't know anything about, and you're like, well, he's making a pivot right there, and I'm just like, look at the guy with the big applause. That's it. That's why. Would you come back tomorrow and join me one more time, please?
Absolutely.
You're so kind. It's Your Korean Dad everywhere, and check it out. We appreciate that. Josh, great job on the video. Sorry for sending you the German one. My sincere apologies. I'll do better tomorrow, I promise. For Nick Cho and Josh Soroka, this is Mike O'Meara saying, so long, everybody.
Mike O'Meara, Radio Entertainment.
You